France 24's French politics editor Marc Perelman was listening in to that speech from Macron yesterday. He joins me now on the set. First of all, Marc, what else did President Macron have to say about the COVID situation in France?
Well, in addition to making this booster shot mandatory, essentially, for those over 65, he said this would be open to those between 50 and 64 as of December 1st. It is not mandatory, but clearly recommended. And what he was hoping is to jolt the French to go and have themselves vaccinated, like happened last time on July the 12th, where you saw people really rush to the vaccination centers and get their first and second shots. And there is evidence that many appointments are being taken online since yesterday night. And so he's hoping that he will be able to do this. And he said masks would be kept in schools. There were some departments where this measure was lifted. Now it's back because he's saying, the pandemic is still with us. But clearly no lockdown, no curfew. This is essentially now described by the president as something of the past, but obviously he's been burned before, so he wants to make sure that he remains vigilant and doesn't want to be caught red-handed just 5 months away from the election.
Marc, many analysts who were watching this speech last night, you mentioned the election, said it seemed like this was Macron setting the stage for that vote already, the vote that's coming up next spring.
Yes, because most of the speech was not about COVID. His previous appearances were essentially hijacked by COVID because this was the only topic. Clearly, he gave the impression that he was already thinking about his reelection because he talked about the economy, how strongly it was rebounded, over 6% growth, record low unemployment, limited budget deficit. He said we need to talk about the justice system, give more means to the police, build new nuclear reactors, also make sure that those places where people have problems hiring people, like restaurants and bars, he said, we need really to make an effort and cut unemployment benefits. So clearly he knows what the polls are indicating, that essentially 3/4 of the French are voting for right-wing or far-right parties, and he knows those are the votes he needs to get. And so this is why he's talking about cutting unemployment benefits. We need maybe to work longer, although he didn't go as far as saying, I will reform the pension system, because this is one of his big failures during his mandate. He clearly indicated that would happen in 2022. Well, in 2022, so happens that there will be a presidential election. So the subtle message is that if I'm reelected, I will take this pension reform system to the very end. But obviously, he has not announced that he'll be running. This is expected to happen maybe early next year.
All right, Marc, thanks so much for that. France 24's French politics editor Marc Perelman.